name is Kayla. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've watched some of my videos before. Today we're going to be talking about all the books I would potentially like to read in March. So the first books I'm going to be diving into are books that I am continuing to read that I didn't finish up in February, because February was a weird month for me. I really struggled to concentrate on things, so I did read a lot of books, but they were shorter, fluffier reads, not a lot of fantasy, and if it was fantasy, it was mostly YA, and so we'll get into that in my wrap-up at some point. But anyway, I am a third of the way through Rhythm of War, fourth book in the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. One of my friends was reading Way of Kings for the first time, still is, hasn't finished yet. I'm really excited to see how she feels about the Sanderlinch that is incoming. I can't wait to see her reaction, but listening to somebody else gush about this series immediately makes me just like jealous that I'm not also in Rishar. So I decided to reread the fourth book instead of starting the series all over again, since Rhythm of War was the only one I haven't read twice. So it just feels satisfying to have read them all the same number of times, so the next time that I decide to reread the whole Cosmere, which will be happening soon, I will have them all in my brain an equal amount of times. The next book that I'm going to be continuing is Shadow of the Gods, which is the first book in the Bloodsworn trilogy by John Gwynne. This is a new trilogy that comes out in May. I received an ARC from NetGalley, and I'm enjoying it so far. It's a Viking, like a Norse-inspired fantasy. It's my first time reading John Gwynne, and I've got thoughts already, so we'll see how it goes. The next book I'm going to be continuing reading is Fires of Vengeance, which is the fifth book in the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. I've been slowly making my way through this series for the first time in the last year. I finally got to book 5. It's taken me a while, but I did read a few books back to back. I feel like I've seen a lot of people say they struggled this month with concentrating on reading, and that's basically what happened to me with this book. I just haven't been able to concentrate, and once I realized that, I just didn't want to force myself to read it and not enjoy it. So I took my time. I think I'm around chapter 6 or so, but yeah, I'm hoping to maybe get through that this month, but I'm not going to rush. I want to take my time and enjoy it. So the next book that I'm absolutely going to be getting to this month is a reread of King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. This is the first book in a duology that takes place after the events of Crooked Kingdom, and it has characters from both the Shadow and Bone trilogy and from the Six of Crows duology. The reason I'm rereading this is because the final book in this duology, as well as the final book that's being written in the Grishaverse in general, Rule of Wolves, comes out March 30th. Granted, I realize I probably will finish this in April. I say probably. There's a very good likelihood I binge it in 2 days. I don't know. I might do that. I probably will do that. So it might end up on my April wrap-up. I don't know. But I'm definitely going to be reading both of those books this month. Okay, now, there's a few things that go on in March. I know a lot of people participate in middle grade March. I don't really enjoy middle grade. I just don't see myself reading for a lot of that. But I will be reading Howl's Moving Castle by Diane Wynne Jones with Michael Knipp's Patreon. I'm not really sure what it's about. I've actually never watched it. I read the synopsis, and I guess it's about a little girl who gets cursed by a witch to look like an old lady, and then in order to break the curse, she goes and finds a wizard in a wizard howl in a castle in the sky or something. I don't know. I don't know anything about it really. So that's the situation with that. Then also in March, Middle Earth March is a thing. I don't feel like I see this that much on booktube, but on Instagram there are quite a few people that read Middle Earth books in March, and so I will be joining in with that as well. And I'm already read The Hobbit and Fellowship last year, and I planned on reading the rest of the trilogy, and I didn't last March, so I'm going to be continuing with The Two Towers and Return of the King this month for sure. I absolutely love The Fellowship of the Ring. I loved Tolkien's prose. I loved every single thing about it. I cried. I just loved it. I thought it was so beautifully written, and I loved the characters, and I cannot wait to start this series again. And then I'm also planning on getting to, hopefully, Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. This is a young adult fantasy series that I've been seeing all over the place, and people have been loving it. Legendborn is a King Arthur retelling that takes place in the modern world and follows a teenage girl who goes to college. It's like an early college situation at UNC Chapel Hill, and she gets accepted into the secret society of Legendborn, which are students that have magic. I don't really know much beyond that, but I love school settings, I love secret societies, and I love King Arthur. So I'm very excited for this book. I have a few of these books behind me actually, because I actually own a few of these physically this month instead of just binging everything from the library. So yeah, there's that, and then I'm also hoping to potentially read the Inheritance trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. I have the Omnibus. Is that how you say it? Omnibus? edition. This is actually all 3 books. So it's pretty, I mean, it's a pretty hefty boy, but I feel like I can at least read 1 or 2 of these depending on how motivated I am to follow my TBR. You know how that goes. You guys all know how that goes. But I think I could at least read 1 of them, but I'd like to read all 3. And I may end up picking up the audio because she usually utilizes Robin Miles as a narrator, and Robin Miles is an excellent narrator. So if you ever decide to read anything by N.K. Jemisin and you like audiobooks, you for sure should check those out. They're fantastic. And that's it. It's 8 books? 9? That is all the books I plan on reading in the month of March. Let me know down below if you have read any of these books and what your thoughts were. Like, comment, and subscribe if you'd be so kind. Hit the notification bell if you'd like to be notified for when I post videos, and stay tuned because there'll be more to come.